Dad!
Krusty the Clown, everybody.
Please look at my medical alert bracelet.
Well, what can you say? It's quite a weird feeling. I mean, to be honest, I'm not actually upset. You know, I guess maybe we've grown up and maybe I just, you know, in a kind of secret way, maybe this is a sort of result that you, as an All Blacks fan, because All Blacks fans are used to, you know, we as All Blacks fans are used to us winning so much that, you know, when it, you know, it's almost like secretly you kind of yearn to like, what's that feeling? What does it feel like to lose? And I know we've had that feeling in the more recently in the last couple of years with Ireland and all of that, but certainly to lose 43-10 to your biggest rival South Africa, wow, that's a new thing. And so, but yeah, I mean, I guess you've got to applaud South Africa, and that second half was, you know, I've watched the whole of it. It's, you know, we were never in the game at all. It was pretty much one-way traffic from South Africa, and yeah, you've got to give it big ups to them. Congratulations on them, and it's the sort of performance that, you know, we've given, and, you know, back in our, you know, in our prime, you know, when you had Dan Carr and Richie McCaw, we used to do that to teams, you know, including South Africa, whereas in New Zealand or over there, of course, you know, more recently you had that result in Albany back in 2019. And look, I think it is something that should be celebrated, and I'm hoping, you know, I don't think, you know, New Zealanders don't generally boo their own team unless there's a really good reason. I don't think this was a sort of performance where at full time, if I was there, I would have just stood up and applauded the South Africans, because this was just an absolutely outstanding performance. I think this is possibly the finest performance by any South African rugby team in history, certainly in Rassie Erasmus' career. Like, I mean, the rugby, the forwards were just, you know, you recall, of course, in part they won that scrum, and they scored a few phases after that. This was metaphorically was like that. Look, I mean, Cheslin Colby, like watching Cheslin Colby and Damien Willems, Ethan Hooker, Pete Steph du Toit was like really, it's just poetry in motion. This is why you love watching rugby. And yes, it kind of hurts that they're doing it against, you know, us at home in Wellington, you know, New Zealand and all that. But yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, at least, you know, yes, it definitely hurts to lose 43-10. It should. But, you know, I guess the manner to lose like that, you know, in the way it is, it's like, well, yeah, you know, there are teams that are just better than us. And look, I mean, I think you got to say first thing about Scott Robertson and the All Blacks. I don't think you should. I don't think you should get the panic button should be pressed. Xers shouldn't come out straight away. Certainly, sacking him would not be the worst idea. Certainly, going for what, and neither will wholesale changes to the All Blacks. You know, like, you know, sort of like drastic panicky changes. It's just what happens. So, and a lot of these guys in the South African team were in that hiding when we trashed them in Albany all those years ago, and look where they are now. It is just part of, you know, I think we'll come back stronger. Look, certainly guys, I think Wallace Atiti, Scott Barrett, probably Adi Savia certainly didn't have their best games, but I think if they are, you know, I know Adi will come back, and I'm pretty sure Scott Barrett will come back from this, but they'll, you know, this is a real test now for, you know, likes for your Simon Parker, Sami Sonitaki, Brody McAllister, certainly, who, you know, when he came on, I thought initially started well, but the lineups just collapsed after that. Excuse me, but how we respond will be key. And I think we will bounce back against Australia, because we've got Eden Park after all, so that it kind of helps. But I think we will bounce back. But yeah, we've got to talk about South Africa. That was just absolutely amazing stuff from, I almost was tempted to say Cheslin Kolbe was easily the best Springbok on display. To be honest, you couldn't. I mean, Damian Willems, the captain one side, clearly came off, which I thought, by the way, was a bit premature. But yeah, it looks like they had more than enough. And but yeah, there's so many stand-up performances, pretty much from every Springbok on the field, and that is, I guess if you're an All Blacks fan or someone else, fan from another country, you're hoping this is the peak, and maybe they're starting to decline from here. But that's all I can say about South Africa for now. Anyway, I can't really talk too much because, as you probably might have known, I've sort of been recovering from this. Well, it turns out to be influenza A. And I've kind of lost my voice, that's why I started coughing in the early segments. But look, so I won't talk too much longer, and I won't try and do a South African accent because that's too much effort and my strain my voice. But yeah, I think so. I was going to say Cheslin Kolbe for man of the match, but I think Damian Willems really. I mean, Damian Willems, ultimately I picked Damian Willems because, my gosh, he was everywhere. He was making tackles, and then, speaking of which of tackles, that Jordie Barrett tackle early on Cheslin Kolbe, that could have been that still should be one of the best try-saving tackles, but unfortunately it's going to be forgotten because, the All Blacks lost. But yeah, I mean, Damian Willems, wow, yeah, I mean, I thought Damien Delander and Jesse Creel, and I thought South Africa had their, something similar to Marlon and Conrad Smith, but yeah, and then you have someone, Damian Willems, says, well, you've got to play him somehow. It's like, there's no way, who you're going to drop next. So yeah, look, that's all I can say, though, I think. And if you do get a chance to watch the game, definitely watch the second half. I mean, All Blacks fans are not going to watch the second half of the game again and try and forget it. But if you're a rugby fan, yeah, definitely watch it. But look, I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm about to lose my voice. I'm just going to call it there. And of course, if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe.